Alrighty, Scremlins, welcome back to another video. Now, I hope that this doesn't come as a shock to any of you, but Xbox may very well be following in the footsteps of Sony amidst their decision to end the production of physical games. Now, this has been a long time coming, so again, I don't really think it should be a surprise to anyone. Has not been confirmed, but all directions are kind of pointing that Xbox's next generation of console, which is currently known as Project Helix, very well may not feature a disk drive, and instead they're opting for a unique twist on how physical games become digital media. Now, I'm sure some of you are probably going to be upset by my opinions in this video, or just upset by the stories themselves. The backlash to Sony making this decision earlier this year was pretty huge, with people of course claiming that if you do not own the media, then it is not pirating to steal it, etc, etc. Of course, referencing that when you purchase something digitally, i.e. a game in this case, you're purchasing a license to that game, so you technically do not quote unquote own it. But the future of gaming and gaming media, guys, media in general, it's not going to be a happy place for you if this type of thing upsets you to no end. You know, physical media is great in its own right, and I understand the allure of having it and owning it because you physically have that CD, disc, whatever it may be, the movie, which is really what anyone is upset about at the end of the day, is that they just want to know that it's not going to be taken away from them. But nearly everything we do in our modern age occurs in some form of digital purchase or subscription to a service of some kind. So the age of physical media, whether it's music or movies or games or whatever it is, it's just simply coming to an end. It's going to continue to come to an end little by little. It's already vastly on its way out and has been for a very long time. And to be honest with you guys, in my mind, I mean, it just makes sense for it to be that way. There's not a need anymore to really continue to spend millions or how many ever dollars on producing physical forms of media when everything that we utilize day to day on our phones and the cloud and our computers, it's all digital. Now, to be clear about the twist that I mentioned at the beginning of the video with the way that Xbox is handling this, they are not outright getting rid of physical media yet. And it hasn't even been fully confirmed whether or not this is something that they're going to fully adopt at the next launch. But testing for it, I believe, did begin in May of this year. What Xbox is attempting to do is to create sort of a hybrid model. That being, players will still be able to purchase physical copies of games and use the physical copies of games they already own, but with the caveat of being able to convert them into digital licenses without having to repurchase the game. It's pretty straightforward. The nomenclature for it, I guess, is disc to digital. This was hinted at back in the GDC Xbox keynote again, which happened in May of this year. And this is when the feature for it became enabled, and I guess testing for it began. And the way that it would essentially work is that if a player has a physical game, so let's just say you have a copy of Halo, you put it into your console, and with this feature, while signed into your Microsoft account, it would create a digital key the same way that purchasing something from Steam would, say, and it will become associated with your account for that particular copy of the game. So now you don't technically need the physical disc anymore. However, there's a little bit of a catch here, and that is that if you were to sell that physical disc, or let's say loan it to a friend, and they were to register the game under their Microsoft account, it would remove that license from your account. So you would no longer have access to it, and if you didn't have the disc anymore, of course, you wouldn't have access to it that way either. So that is where the pitfall of this sort of transferable key comes into play. Now, being that this is a pretty new sort of, I don't know, quote unquote experimental technology that they're going to be implementing into their next iteration of console, it's more than likely not going to support older titles like Xbox 360 games, and of course not original Xbox games. This will probably be something that's exclusively for new games. According to a Windows Central article that released earlier this year, they conducted a poll with roughly 800 of their readers. And of course, this is a very small, isolated poll, but it's interesting because compared to Sony and the backlash that Sony received, 79% of the people actually approved of this idea. The rest were either not interested at all or just needed to know more about how it worked. So that's curious to see that even just hinting at the fact that you'll still be able to use physical media drastically improved the perception of this amongst this particular group of readers. Another thing that I kind of thought was cool, and something that I don't really think a lot of people think about when they get mad about these things, is that the article here that I've just referenced mentioned the fact that, you know, laptops have not included CD drives for ages. Even desktop PCs don't include CD drives anymore. They're items that you purchase separately and have installed if you want them. And we've become so accustomed to that and so used to that now that nobody cares. Nobody even bats an eye. Nobody's going to Best Buy or going to wherever it is. It's not like back in the Circuit City days or something. And searching for physical discs. Even when you go to the store and you buy like TurboTax 2027 in the cardboard box, there's nothing in it. It's literally a waste of cardboard. You open it and it's a code. It's just a code. And that's the way that every form of media just about these days works. And nobody cares because that's just the way that the technology progresses. And we become used to it because it's just the way that we already live our life. You know, I referenced this in the Sony video as well, which is that a lot of these, you know, companies, Sony and game studios and these publishing companies, you know, they're really not worried about this end of physical media thing the same way that some groups of gamers are in a little bit of an uprising about it. Capcom weighed in saying that 90% of their sales are all digital, so that it's really just not something they're concerned about. Now, I know a lot of people are going to include, well, that's not just games, that's passes and coins and tokens and blah 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 and skins and all this stuff. Well, sure, but that's really the lifeblood of the game anyway, so for one, who cares? And two, even if the games in an isolated environment are 65% sold, I mean, that's more than half, and it's only going to continue to progress. Now, I took more of a neutral, partial position when I did the Sony video because I understood people's frustration, but in general, man, in this video, I've got to say, I just don't care. I don't think it matters at all. Again, I understand the digital not being great in the event that it would be taken away from you, but realistically, that is not going to happen. I've been a PC player for almost a decade now. I've never once had a license revoked from my Steam library, EA library, Epic Games library. I've never had any issues accessing a game. That doesn't mean that I couldn't in the future. It's just very unlikely. I understand that for older retro games, you may want to be able to play those. In that case, I would just suggest going to a used game store and buying an old console. You can't be expected 20 years after a game releases, 30, 40 years after a console releases, to be able to play that original game in its physical form when none of the technology supports it anymore. And we already know all of this to be more than true. The next Xbox and the next PlayStation, for that matter, are going to be some of the first sort of next gen consoles, if you will, that are true hybrid PC consoles. We've seen this with the Steam machine with their proprietary OS that allows you to do things outside of just gaming through your Steam library. It's going to be the same for Xbox. They very clearly stated that Xbox Helix is going to be designed to play not only Xbox games, but PC games. Now, what that means is that they will likely be moving away from an entirely Xbox branded interface and user experience and will likely opt for more of a gaming oriented but dumbed down version of Windows. It's going to allow you to use it as more of an all-in-one machine, granted far less capable than an actual PC, but close. We've seen some of the technical specifications on the screen throughout this video, but that's just the way that it's going to be, man. The hardware is getting getting better. The ways that you can use the machines and how capable they are getting better. It's getting more expansive every year. And with that becomes a lesser need for outdated media. So as a console owner and buyer, you're pushing ever closer each year to $1,000 price point, which is where we're nearly at now, to simply buy a console when you could just be using that money to build a PC. And that's why these consoles are integrating these hybrid forms of using them, because they're becoming, in a sense, budget build PCs, if you will. PC parts are super expensive now, but that's what these machines are becoming and what they will inevitably end up being regardless. They're just going to phase themselves out into being PCs. So my final thoughts on this, guys, are pretty straightforward, pretty simple. I know I'm going to make a lot of people mad with that opinion, but my opinion is much more one-sided now than it was in the Sony video. I understand why people get upset about it. I get it, because they want to know that they own what they've purchased. I get that. But realistically, this is going to become an afterthought that in another 5 to 10 years, no one will even think twice about. It will not be anything that's ever mentioned again, because it's been the same with every other form of technology, and it will continue to be the same. If you want to continue to play games on your Xbox or GameCube or whatever it is, then just buy those consoles and play them. But when you're buying a brand new 2027, 2028, whatever console, and they say, well, hey, we've made the executive decision, cost analysis, benefit, blah, 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 we're not going to include a disk drive because nobody buys digital or physical discs anymore. Well, okay, it's been that way with everything. You don't have an iPod anymore. You don't walk around with a Sony Walkman anymore. You don't walk around with a laptop with a disk drive that weighs 90 pounds. Everything gets thinner, everything gets smaller, everything becomes more compact, everything is digital now. So you're not going to have your digital licenses taken away from you. Okay, it's very unlikely that that'll ever happen. This story is something that I knew was going to happen. Everybody got so mad at the PlayStation thing, and I knew already it was only a matter of time, and I said it in that video. It's only a matter of time before Xbox does the same thing. And here we are just 4 or 5 months later, and they're doing the same exact thing. And it's only going to continue to happen. It's only going to continue to happen, and who cares? Who cares? Every other thing you do in your life is digital. I understand wanting to own it. I understand having the physical media, whatever, for the nostalgia or the feels or whatever. Buy an original Xbox and play it on that. Buy a PlayStation 2 and play it on that. I mean, makes just as much sense, doesn't it? If that's what you want the new console to do, you could probably get the old one for $50 online. Just do that. Anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Now, again, to be clear, this is a hybrid model that Xbox is integrating. This is not a full abandonment of physical media in the favor of digital media. This is a hybrid. We will convert your discs into digital license keys that are transferable from account to account. That's the way that this is going to work. And right now, this is just in probably like an alpha beta testing phase to see how it goes. The reception to it overall has been much better than Sony because they are not outright saying you're cut off, no more physical, but it will eventually land there anyway. So you might as well just prepare for it. And in all honesty, get over it. I know that that's going to make some people sad. I'll probably hear all kinds of crazy things about me in the comments for it, but that's my opinion. And as somebody who's been a PC player for nearly a decade now, I haven't had physical media in ages, and I just don't care. I don't think it matters. So let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like the video, make sure to throw a like on it and subscribe for more videos like this. I'll see you guys online.